nuestra cita es con el famosísimo artista australiano Andrew Rogers y que nos vamos a encontrar a unos pasos de las Naciones Unidas en Dag Hammarskjold Plaza. Hi Andrew.
How are you?
How are you?
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you. So ready to speak about your Individuos?
Absolutely.
I would like to ask you to start the philosophical idea behind this project.
Okay, so this group of 15 bronze sculptures is called Individuos. It's about the sanctity of an individual's life and about freedom of expression. It's about respect for the individual and thinking about the 42 million deaths that have occurred since 1947 around the world through conflict.
I would like to know how the communities and the people you have worked with have affected you.
I think what I realise is when I work with so many people, we've worked with 7,500 people over 15 years, everybody's the same all around the world. We all have our own rhythms of life, we all have influences on our life, we all care about the same thing. And that's why respect for individuals that this sculpture here is about reflects this message.
Actually here connected with that fact and also with the setting we are at, that we are a few steps away from United Nations, and also related like as a land art artist, that how important is the setting, the landscape, and also the material you use and all the interactions. So how that works in this work?
Well, in this particular location we have an unusual overlay compared to just working in a landscape. First of all, we're in one of the great cities of the world, New York, but being near the United Nations is very relevant to this installation because the UN is meant to be a beacon for hope and for solving issues. And unfortunately it's very difficult to solve the issues because they always become politicised. When you work in a landscape, you're in a pristine environment without an urban interference. You also, it makes you think about responsibility. It makes you think about responsibility for the environment, for preserving the earth and preserving the future, because we're all only caretakers and what we do has consequences for the next generations. I use bronze because the message gets maintained, it doesn't get destroyed over time. And what you see here is a highly polished interior surface and an external rough surface, and the polished surface represents the interiors of our thoughts and our ideas, and these are shielded by the exteriors. So here you can rub your hand over this surface and you can feel it's a beautiful, interesting surface. It's rough. All of these ribs are applied by hand.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
really?
so it's a lot of work, but it's such a contrast to the highly polished surface.
And now most our audience is related to South America. My roots are there, so I would like to ask you, in the frame of this project, how were your experiences in Bolivia, in Chile, in Peru?
South America is a wonderful continent, one of the 7 continents of the world that I've worked on. And I started working in Chile in the Atacama Desert, one of the driest deserts in the world. In Bolivia we worked on the highest contemporary art site in the world, 4,300 meters, which is the equivalent of halfway up Mount Everest. So that was a very interesting experience where the air was thin and it was difficult to breathe. And we always employ men and women on our sites. In Peru, I've worked at the base of the sanctuary in Machu Picchu, one of the significant places of history in the world. Very spectacular landscape again. And in all of these countries, there's deep heritage and deep history, and it's the values of the past that you realize are important, and these are values that we don't want to forget going forward.
Well, you know, one thing that's interesting about Andrew, Andrew has dimensions, great dimensionality as an artist, because this is just not an ephemeral. These are actual sculptural pieces we could actually have in our garden, into our home, in our public spaces. But Andrew has a whole body of work that really deals with human beings, site-specific land art all over the world. And I think that as a collector myself, as an art dealer too, what's exciting is that when I buy a piece of Andrew, I'm buying a piece of this artist's whole sort of life.
And I will add to what you are saying that for me it always touches me when the artist has a particular statement, and when they have a particular, they share their particular way of seeing life. They provide, like, maybe to other people, other individuals, the possibility of interpreting their life in a different way. So I think this kind of share the sensitivity and open the mind of the people who are exposed to your art. Tuvimos hoy una hermosa experiencia hablando con el autor de estas esculturas, Andrew Rogers, y si querés conocer más sobre él, te invito a que visites nuestro blog, y por último no olvides suscribirte a nuestro canal y te espero la próxima semana. Chau chau.